because I want to say Luis because it's Colombarini, but I'm not even sure if that's Italian or if that's yeah, Latin. I can't hear you, so it's okay. But let me just tell you sort of the evolution of where we got to as a business, and it will hit a little bit differently for each of you because Heather's just getting started, and Louis, you're old hat. You've been at this for a long time. Um, but it's really been an evolution for us at Art Storefronts because our job essentially, if we want to have a successful business, is to create successful artists and photographers, and you know the last decade, that's what we've been trying to do. And again, our business only grows if our customers are successful. And so, really, the problem that we're tackling is how do you do that? How do you do that in the best way possible? And it's essentially you have to grab artists and photographers and you have to teach them how to grow an art business because it's not something that most of them have been taught. It's not something that most of them know. Most people learn through the school of hard knocks, make a ton of mistakes along the way, and it's really, really hard. So, what will follow is kind of just at a brief high level how we believe the best way you go about doing that, what are the things to focus on, what are the products that we've created as a result of it, and then as I said we can get into the Q&A on the other side. But to be a successful artist and photographer in today's day and age, and I believe this has been true for quite some time, number one, you need to be selling directly to your customers. And this is critically important. It's something that a lot of people gloss over because if you do not know who is purchasing your work, you lack the ability to market to those people in the future, okay? And when you lack the ability to market to those people in the future, and how would that happen? By which I mean a number of different situations. One, you're selling through a brick and mortar gallery. Fewer people are doing that in today's day and age because so many went out of business during COVID. But when you sell through a gallery, you don't have any idea who purchases your work. When you sell through the online marketplaces, you don't have any idea who purchases your work. When you sell it direct yourself and you don't maintain the information on the people, so you don't have the ability to market to them, that is also a downfall. And the reason that's the case, and the reason I really stress that is, in business, there's only three ways to grow a business. You get new customers in the door in art photography businesses. You get new customers in the door, number one. Number two, you increase what's called your AOV, your average order value. Easiest way to do that is you raise your prices, right? You were charging 100 for the thing, now you're charging 150. Your AOV went from 100 to 150. The third way, and there's a number of different ways to do AOV. The third way is you get customers that you already have to come back and purchase again, repeat business, right? Well, the amazing thing about what you guys do is the collector phenomenon is at play here. And collectors, by definition, are folks that just get attached to a particular artist or photographer and just keep buying and buying and buying and buying and buying over the years. And come to find out, anybody that's been in this business for a long period of time, you find that collectors are sort of the lifeblood of the creative artist and or photographer. They are the pension, the 401k, the base salary, right? And I cite this book that I read all the time. I wish I had it right in front of me. I did before. Let me see if I can just find it. Where did that thing go? Took me a second. I have small children. Really love this book, you guys. Don't Be a Starving Artist. It's by Weiland. Weiland's the whale guy. And he only sells this book direct on his website because I think he's donating 100% of the proceeds from charity. But most people would say Weiland is either the number one or, call it top 10 best-selling artist in the United States. He's huge. And in his book, Don't Be a Starving Artist, he talks about collectors, right? Everyone knows what a collector is. But for Weiland, a collector is anyone that will buy in excess of 7 pieces from him, 7+ pieces over the course of a lifetime. And, over my, guys, 7, 8, 9 years in this business, 10 years in this business, I've gotten to see a number of my customers who, these collectors, they just keep coming back and buying again and again and again and again. And sometimes the purchases are in upwards of 15, 20, 35, 40 times. And so it's very, very important to understand what a benefit that is to a business, what a force multiplier. And if for any reason you do not know who is purchasing your work and you do not have the ability to market to them in perpetuity, then you don't stand the chance of getting a collector, right? So very, very important. Anyway, to go back to a high level, how we create successful artists and photographers. We believe you need to sell direct so that you know who your customers are, so they have the potential to turn in collectors. You need to market consistently all year long. We think it's very important to be trying new niches and subject matters as your career sort of evolves, and you can never quit marketing. That's it. That's it. Summed up in one particular sentence. And you know, I say all that, and it's like, wow, that doesn't sound that difficult, right? I could do that, and anybody can do that. It's much more difficult than you think, right? And we're pretty much, I see the majority of artists and photographers fail is they treat their marketing and the business portion of their business sort of like a New Year's resolution. This is going to be my year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do fantastic. It's going to be amazing. Kind of like signing up for the gym, New Year's resolution style in January. Going 4 days a week in January. March rolls around and you haven't been once, right? March rolls around and you haven't been once. And then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So really the biggest problem that I would say the vast majority of artists and photographers have is, one, not knowing how to do the right marketing to actually grow their emails, grow the traffic to their site, grow the number of customers, grow the number of collectors, and then just never doing it consistently. And there's a whole bunch of different reasons for that. So we started out as a business attempting to solve for this. We started first with a website, right? And we built the most advanced art selling website on the planet. All the bells, all the whistles that no one else has, all these beautiful ways to sell wall art and other creative things. And we got done with that and we're like, okay, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be amazing. We're going to have a huge, gigantic business, right? Wrong. Because it turns out artists and photographers don't have a website problem. Not most anyway. What they have is a marketing problem. They have this incredible website now. It's kind of like having an incredible restaurant in the middle of the desert. There's no one outside. There's no one coming into it. So what the hell does it matter? No one even knows you have a nice restaurant, right? So the next biggest problem that we attempted to solve, and Jose, I see your comment. I'll tell you in a second. The next biggest problem that we attempted to solve was coming up with the best marketing education that exists on the planet for artists and photographers. How to run a sale, how to contemplate discounts, how to price things on your website, how to run Facebook ads, how to do email marketing, how to do live art shows, how to maximize the value from an in-person show or fair, how to leverage QR codes, how to do omni-channel marketing, all of these various different things that you need to learn in order to grow an art business, right? And so we created a bunch of that, and we continue to create a bunch of that, and we're like, okay, now we've got the website, awesome. Now we've got the marketing education. All these guys have to do is just read this stuff and they'll do great, right? Wrong. Because it turns out nobody wants to read DIY education on their own and then put the work into practice. So the next step in our evolution was like, okay, we actually have to become a college, a university essentially. And no different than a university, we're going to have classes, there'll be homework, there'll be breakout sessions, there'll be office hours where you can go and see the teacher and get some clarity, and then you'll be going through this entire experience with a group of your peers, so you'll have that camaraderie and that community. And we built like kind of what I call a support umbrella. And on one side of it is like what everyone thinks is support. Okay, you get stuck on something, you open a ticket, and somebody responds to the ticket and fixes it. Or, okay, I got to get on the phone with somebody, my website's broken, I can't figure out Facebook. Okay, get on the phone with somebody. Or I need to jump into a Zoom session and have a group class on how to run a Halloween sale, right? Or whatever sale that we're running. Okay, I need a place where I can go where I can talk to my fellow students and find out what's working for them. So we created this entire support umbrella, which on one end is like everything that you would imagine is traditional support. In the middle is sort of like in-person classes, kind of like this one, except bigger, where we're teaching on a specific thing and we're telling you to do it. Then we created this calendar that tells you what to do 365 days a year. We call it the Art Marketing Calendar. Then the support, then the group, then we've added like some of the the woo-woo mental stuff too, like accountability, encouragement, occasionally good-natured harassment and or bribery, right? Which I sometimes have to employ to get my customers to like actually do something sometimes, right? So that whole support umbrella was like a huge level up for us in a business because number one, there's not any of our competitors or even really that many people doing it, period, that like have this concept of a university and are supporting their customers everywhere they can and are encouraging our customers to network with one another, and what's working for you might work for them, and all of these types of things. And that was really, really awesome. And that was like a huge level up for us. And so since then, it's kind of been like, okay, what can we do next, right? What can we do next? And it's just, no different than like, Elon Musk trying to go to Mars. I'm not saying we're anywhere near as smart as him or our mission's as big as going to Mars, but first it's like, okay, you need to get a rocket to go up in the air without blowing up. Okay, then you need to build a better rocket. Then okay, you need to figure out how to land the boosters back on Earth so it's going to be affordable. Then you have to figure out a space business, and his whole process is one step at a time. Like I'm eventually going to get to Mars, right? So okay, if our process is how do you create successful artists and photographers, what's the process? Okay, they're now selling direct on their website. They now have the best marketing education that exists. They're now enrolled in a college that's constantly teaching them, encouraging them, supporting them, motivating them, picking them up off their heels when they're down in the depths because you're all solopreneurs. What's next? Next thing we figured out 4 months ago is that none of you want to build a website. None of you want to talk HTML, CSS, GoDaddy, servers, or anything of the above. It is not a good use of your time. It is a waste of your time. So instead of having you build your website, we built your website for you. And that was a feature that we released 6 months ago. And I'm pretty sure we're the first people in certainly in this industry, but pretty much almost in any industry where we just build the website for you now. And then we realized not only do we need to build the website for them, but we need to maintain the damn thing for them in perpetuity. And what does that mean? I don't mean just host it and make sure that it's alive and on the internet and serving. Yeah, of course we do that. But you have updates. You've got a new series. You need to make some changes. You need to make some edits. You tell us, we do it. We do it for you, for life. It doesn't matter. We will take care of it. Because again, if we want you guys to be successful, you wasting your damn time on becoming a web programmer or reading web programming for dummies or HTML or CSS for dummies or going into forums and searching for support in this, it's a waste of your time. You need to be working on creating the art, marketing the art, and selling the art. That's it. There's nothing else you should be working on. So that was our two greatest evolutions. Then recently we used to charge transaction fees, and we're like, can't charge transaction fees. On our top plans, let's get rid of the transaction fee. So that means when you sell something on our website, there's no commission, there's no nothing. You get paid, the printer gets paid, assuming it's a POD order, and then the order's shipped. So then we got rid of transaction fees. And our next one, which is our biggest feature ever, the most game-changing thing that we've done ever is, and I'm really proud of it, despite the fact it's early days and that we've just launched it, but what I've had my entire 7-year journey here at this business is teaching my customers to market, okay, and then getting them to do it consistently. Teaching them how to do it, getting them to do it consistently. Both are really, really hard. One, it takes a while to learn how to do these various different things. How do you post to Facebook? How do you post to Instagram? What are important to do on Instagram? What's important to do on Facebook? How do you send emails? How do you do all those things in conjunction? How do you contemplate discounts? How do you run a live art show? And on and on and on, all these various different things. And so what we realized sort of in that process is that there is some baseline level stuff involved in marketing and especially social media marketing that we can do for you. And I mean things like posting on Facebook, things like posting in Instagram, things like sending emails when you're running sales, how you get all of those to work together, what type of language to use, what time to post, what hashtags to use, and more important than all of that, doing so consistently. Doing so all the times where if you were left to your own devices, you would not do it as consistently as us. And that's not a knock on you or your technical prowess. I don't do it. I mean, I have to run all of our storefront social. I don't do it consistently enough. My team doesn't do it consistently enough because it's really, really hard. And we recognize that, and we're like, okay, knowing what we know, having been in business almost for a decade now, and knowing that the most important thing in any of it is consistency, where everyone gets off track, independent of the best art, the best trick, the best niche, best geographical location, is folks really struggle with the consistency. And so we looked at that and we're like, okay, how can we leverage our team such that we will handle a large portion of these social media updates, a large portion of these emails ourselves? And that's what we did. And now that's included in our plan. And most people hear that and they're like, they get so excited. And to be honest with you, we've been posting, ads on Facebook and Instagram and posts talking about this. And in my entire damn near decade with this company, I have never seen more hateful comments on Facebook and Instagram than I've ever seen in my entire life. People are like, this is too good to be true. There's no way they're doing this. How much does it cost? How could this possibly happen? And people are angry about it, which I totally don't understand. And I think underpinning some of that is we are not saying we are going to do 100% of the marketing for you, okay? The artist, the photographer still needs to engage in regular and consistent marketing. What we're saying is no different than a co-pilot sits next to the pilot and takes a bunch of stuff off the pilot's plate that he can do, setting routes, waypoints, the dials, the knobs, everything that the co-pilot does. We can do that for our customers and get them moving faster. And it's get them moving faster so they can do a little bit more. So is there still marketing that you need to do? Absolutely. There is a ton of stuff that no one will ever be able to replace. Filming you, filming your process, taking the photos. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there that you still have to do. Your audience will always want to understand you, what you're up to, what makes you tick, what makes you interesting, and that's never going away. But there is a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need to be doing. And so we realize that if we're able to take our customers and make them significantly more consistent and effective in their social media marketing, and we spread that out over a number of years, it is going to make a massive impact on the size of their business, a massive impact on how quickly their businesses are growing. So that is where we've evolved to as it stands February 13th, 2023. And the thing that I'm perhaps like most excited about is we have, as you would expect, like a really diverse customer base. I think we're probably like a little over 85, 86, 8,700 customers, something like that. And I'm talking people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s, 90s. I'm talking every niche imaginable on in North America, in other countries, multidisciplinary. Some people are selling classes. Some people are selling, an entire menagerie of items, books, records, CDs, all kinds of various different things. And I've gotten to work with like a whole bunch of them over the years. And I'm talking, I've worked with people that have over 1 million fans on Instagram, over $1 million a year in revenue, hundreds of thousands of people on their email list. Take whatever metric of success that you might think is like huge for an artist. And one of the things that I've noticed almost throughout all of them is even on the ones that are really, really successful, they're still leaving a ton of money on the table. And the primary reason is because they are not consistent enough. Because it is really freaking hard to be consistent on your marketing, okay? To be consistent on your marketing while also having the time for a life and your creativity and everything else that you want to do. And, as cliche as it is, the damn consistency is what determines who is successful and who's not. It just does. It always has. That's always been true. No one ever wants to talk about that, right? And most artists and photographers hate marketing and don't want to learn marketing and just wish that there was some sort of a relationship where they could just create and someone else deals with all the sales and marketing. But that's not the world that we live in. And in my estimation, it's not the world that we've ever lived in. Like the number of artists and photographers that are successful in the gallery model where they're not doing any of the marketing is such a small number. It is a minuscule number. It is maybe less than like 1% of total artists and photographers that are out there that are trying to grow their business. And so that's an important thing to understand in all of this. We're really, really excited about it. I'm really, really excited to see where it goes. And to be honest with you, it's like one of the, I don't know how many other businesses I could get away with this, right? Like, most other businesses of similar stature, right, like compete with one another, right? Like if there was mattress factories or tire shops or, bakeries or something, it would be like, don't tell the other bakers how to do this because I'm in the same town they are and the business that they get is business that I'm not getting. That's not the case with art or photography. And the reason is that people get bonded to the individual artist or photographer, and they get bonded based on your creativity and who you are and what makes you tick. And once that happens, you're not competing against anyone else. You're just competing against yourself and getting your art photography in front of the people that want to see it. And so it's an amazing thing to be able to do. But my team and myself am able to craft these social media messages, these emails, the timing of them, when to do them, how creative to get with them, and then put them in a dashboard for you, and you can either sign off and let it go or you can make edits. And we're going to be able to do it 1,000 times more consistently than you ever will. And our overall vision for this is probably we'll start meeting once a week with everybody that's on these plans and say, here's what the plan is for the week. If you like everything that we have scheduled this week, don't touch anything, it's going. If you'd like to make an edit here, or there, make an edit here, or there. If you want to delete something, fine, delete something, but I don't recommend that. I know I'm going to do this better than you and more consistently than you, and no matter what, you will be consistent all year long. You will end up running 25 times more sales than you ran the year before, and you will acquire 25 more times customers than you ever did before. I mean, I've got one friend, a longtime customer, really, really good friend. His name is Bill Stidham, and he lives in Mexico, and he comes back up to the U.S. a whole bunch to do art shows and stuff. And he was driving home from Houston, and ran a social media promotion, got it in the water for him, sold seven items for $698 while he was driving back to his house in Mexico. And it's like the technology has unleashed our ability to be able to do that. And that is a fantastic, fantastic thing. And so if we make you guys more consistent, and we make you more consistent year after year after year, you guys are going to be more successful as artists and photographers. You're going to tell more of your friends. More of your friends are going to sign up, and I'm not going to have to do as much outbound marketing. So, as cynical as you want to take that or not, the more successful you guys are, the more successful we are as a business. And so we know instinctively, intuitively, that the more stuff that we can take off your plate, people were struggling with building their own websites. That struggle is not happening anymore, right? People were struggling with maintaining their own websites. That struggle is not happening anymore. People were struggling with the transaction fees. That struggle is not really struggling, but there was getting in their mind. So that's gone now. Now the next step is how much of this social media marketing we can take off your plate. And then the next step after that is, well, I don't want to get too forward thinking because our competitors have try to copy us at an alarming rate. But the next will be helping with lead generation and how much more we can do on your hand. And all of this is just absolutely, it's critical to your guys' success. It is just absolutely critical. And, you think about all the times where you just don't want to do a particular task. And you think about all the times you guys have been artists and photographers, and when you've gotten tired or life has happened or a family situation or you were sick or whatever else, what is the first thing to go? It's the marketing in your art and photography business. It's the one thing that falls off first, right? Maybe the creation is at the very bottom of that, but I'll just get to this when, right? I'll just get going on this as soon as I can, get there, and that's what's going to end up happening. So I'm really, really excited about it. It's not a cure-all. It is not going to magically turn you into $1 million a year artist overnight. But what it's going to do is it's going to help you move faster and faster and faster. It is a tailwind behind the plane that is your art or photography business, and the tailwind is never going to stop blowing. And that's what we're here to do as a business at Art Storefronts. That is the commitment level that we have. I've got a number of my customers that are seeing it because I'm streaming this to YouTube and such, and I can say, Ed, Jose, we're having a big announcement internally for you guys. We're having a summit on Thursday where we'll explain, what we're going to do there. Normally, I can pull the comments in. Something's broken with my little comment widget, so I'll have to fix that. But that's what I got. That's the story. That is our next biggest, latest, crazy feature update, and I'm really, really excited about it. And again, it's an absolute first in this industry. No one else is doing it. No one else is even talking about it, and I'm excited. I'm excited as a result of that. But again, I've been doing this a long time, right? Like a long time. And the sheer amount of shiny objects and let's go do this and let's go do that. And oh my gosh, TikTok is so great. Look at how well I'm doing on TikTok. I got 2 million views. Not a single solitary artist I know is selling a damn thing off TikTok, by the way. Such nonsense. But anyway, everyone always loves to chase the latest and greatest shiny object. Let's go over there. Let's try this. Let's try that marketplace. Let's try this. And what no one ever does is markets consistently. It is the only thing that matters. And as a final, do I love marketing? Yes, I do. Am I going to have a great career in marketing? Yes, I am. I already have. I'm going to have an even better one. When I retire, am I going to keep marketing? No, I'm not. Okay? Because I love it, but I am not that passionate about it that I want to do it for the rest of my life. You guys, as it turns out, and I know this because I've talked to just as many artists and photographers as anyone else has on this planet doing these webinars like this for 3 years in a row, 3 days a week. You don't ever turn the creative off. It doesn't come with an off switch. You guys are going to be creating these things that you love for the rest of your lives. For many of you, that means several decades more to go. And what I know is that if you are marketing consistently for those several decades to come, you are going to have a much bigger business than you would have otherwise. You are going to have a significantly more successful business. And it really just comes down to that consistency. So I think I've banged that drum as hard as I can. I'll open it up to Q&A. And Lewis, I'm going to start with you after hearing all that. How much of that resonates with you, and how much what I'm curious and what I want to ask you selfishly is all those years your jury shows, all those years your shows and fairs and everything you did you keep the contact info on all those people? Have you been marketing to those folks consistently since then? And you'll need to unmute again. Just hit the mic icon. I'll let you know when you get it. Yep.
Yes, I've got been involved with MailChimp for several years,
Mm-hmm.
so I have kept track of customers whenever I can get their email addresses. However, uh, like you say, the biggest problem is the marketing aspect of it.
Yeah.
I had a website for many years, but never had any opportunity to sell work on the website, mainly because I didn't want to compete with galleries that were purchasing our work.
Yeah.
That has all changed. There's not been a lot of galleries buying our work wholesale at this time. So I want to open up a site that I could retail to the public.
Yeah. And have to imagine struggling with consistency in marketing, huge problem always, huh?
I'm sorry, I missed your
Struggling,
point.
struggling with the consistency of marketing.
There is no
So there's just
consistency.
no marketing
It
period. Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Because like most artists, and you hit upon it, we prefer to be a creative entity rather than sitting at a computer, which I only do because it's not going to go away and
Mm-mm.
nothing will change. We've got to, and I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah. 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 I mean, ultimately, like everyone loves getting worked up about various different romantic concepts here or there. We are all just fishermen at the end of the day, and we have to get in the boat in the morning and go steam out to where the fish are, right? Right now, social media, digital marketing is how we get to the fish, and so you have to do it, and you just have to be contrarian about it. But you're already there. And what is it, by the way? Is it an Italian name?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Okay. Other questions?
Um, no, you were pretty clear about where you can take us if
Mhm.
we choose to follow your lead and do our fair share of the marketing on our end.
Yeah.
So, no, I really don't have any other questions other than, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it all sounds it's not so that it sounds so simple, but like it sounds so cliche, right? Like hard work, one step after the other, day after day after day, but that's always what it's been and that's still what it is. So, all right. Okay. Who else guys questions? Oh, I just unmuted you right before you ask again. I'm unmuting you again. Don't worry. Go ahead. Hit the mic again, Liz. Yep.
If you had to guess, what's a reasonable amount of time to for the artists to involve themselves with marketing each day?
Yeah, the in
Average.
the inputs equal the outputs, and everyone always asks that question. It's a total crystal ball question because it's different for everybody based on their
Yeah.
circumstances, based on their motivation level, based on the ambition that they have for their business and everything else. What I would say is that you don't need to make that call up front. Like the way that I see the loop is I'm going to start doing I'm going to start doing some marketing and then I'm going to see what the results look like. And normally, what happens is you don't get the results quick enough, and you're like, "This doesn't work," and I quit. But when you do get the results, it sort of financially or otherwise, it sort of just fills up your emotional reservoir, right? And what ends up happening when the emotional reservoir gets full, you hit hitting the marketing harder. And so my goal, our goal as a business, is just to keep getting you to those points where the reservoir fills up. And so I see the amount of time people say they have to invest in it versus the amount of time they actually invest in it really is about how quickly those loops are happening, right? And it's a little bit different for everyone. But what I'd say broadly is the most important thing goes back to the consistency. Like, Patrick, I only have 4 hours a week that I'm willing to give to this, 2 hours a week that I'm willing to give to this in terms of marketing. And I say, okay, write that mental check for the 52 weeks of the year, right? Show up consistently and do it week in, week out. Don't ever quit. That's what ends up moving mountains, and that's how you get to the wins. And I think that's a much better way to start out. And then boom, 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 boom. You'll hit a win, and you're like all of a sudden you have 4 hours because you're so damn excited about it, right? Or you'll adjust up, you'll adjust down 6 hours, whatever it ends up being. But just do it consistently. That's all that matters.
I get it.
Yeah. Thanks, Luis.
You're welcome.
Who else guys questions? And I should say at the bottom of the little Zoom window here, there's this little reactions face, and if you click it, there's like a way to raise your hand digitally speaking that lets me know you have a comment. Of course, if you have a camera on, I would be able to see it. Luis is the only one with the camera on right now, so keep saying Luis. It's Lewis. Lewis is the only one with the camera on. So, all right, Hannah's got a question. Go ahead, Hannah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. I'm still working, so I just quickly have a question. Like, things. How's it? Like if I use your service and make a website and have a customer, and in the future, if I want to change, my website, like I want to maybe use another service or change, and
Mm-hmm.
uh can I get my clients information, or how that transfer would be looks like? Is that okay to
Yeah,
for you guys?
yeah. So with us, the artist owns absolutely everything. No, no, yeah, I'm gonna mute you so because we can hear the background. With us, the artist owns absolutely everything. You know, it is we build and host the website for you, and it sits on our servers. So technically, the shell that is the website and all the bells and whistles, that is our technology. You don't take that with you, but the artist in question owns the URL. You own all of the contacts. You own all of the emails, the whole entire customer database. It is your business. So you could stay or go at any point in time that you want, and everything that you've built up goes with you. You know, aside from just our web technology. So yeah, we don't lock anybody in or anything like that. Anybody can go at any point in time, and you take everything with you. Which most importantly is all of your customers. Number one, all of their contact info. Number two, and then number three, because you own the domain. You know, let's just say it was hannahshe.com. You go to GoDaddy or wherever it's hosted, and you say, okay, point Hannah She at Art Storefronts, and then there is your Art Storefronts website. The minute you're done and you want to move somewhere else, you just point it at wherever you're moving to, and all of the link juice, all of the SEO, all of the everything that you built up will go along for the ride with you. With us, the artist owns absolutely everything. So that's what I would say, Hannah. Go ahead, Heather.
Hi, Patrick. Thank you for your webinar here.
Well,
I
thanks.
did have a question as to how much it costs.
Mhm.
Is it a monthly situation? Is it a yearly situation? Like for
Yeah,
someone like
so
me who's starting out.
the easiest way to think about it is, and then I'll drill into your situation a little bit. Yes, we're part website solution, but we're also just like I said, kind of on the presentation, we're really a university, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
come in and there's no graduates because we're just constantly teaching classes again and again and again because everything changes so fast in marketing land. So you pay a one-time fee to get into the university, so to speak. That's how I like to think about it anyway. It goes to all the education, the army of people to support you, the regular classes, all of that, and then you just pay a monthly fee on the website. So that's how we sort of break up the charges, and you know
Okay.
we're constantly improving things from there. I would say in your situation, like if you're literally just getting started and you're exploring the idea and you're like, will this business work? The first thing that you really need to do, Heather, is you need to try and sell your art to strangers, to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friends. And so if I was in
Okay.
your shoes and you know you already have this archive built up, it's pretty easy if you don't have originals, because you said you were a photographer, right? Or did you say both?
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to get some prints made. Like you could do it very inexpensively, like a couple $100. And I would commit, it'll be a little terrifying, but just do it. Commit to doing a local show or fair. It could be anything. It could be a farmer's market. It could be an actual like art show where they're allowing artists. It could be a local brewery. There's so many different ways to do it. And get in there with
Mm-hmm.
your prints and have a bunch of conversations with strangers and see if you can sell anything, right? That's a
Okay.
very, very important step on the journey. And the feedback you get is really, really important. The seeing whether or not you sell anything is really, really important. A helpful first step with confidence, because then you've had to work in front of somebody. And why I think that's so important first early on is because you really never know if the work will sell until you try and sell it. No one can tell you whether or not it's going to sell, right? Like
Right.
normally what people say is like, oh, you're so talented, you should try and sell these things, right? You know, oh, I loved your work. Like, you know, all these people say these things. It's like, no. Go try and sell it and see whether or not you have a business on your hands. And that's a very, very important first step. And if it sells, then you're like, okay, I have a product the market wants. Now I just have to work on the marketing problem. And that's where we can come in and really help you. But I think it's an important first step. And it's like, for the cost and the time and the energy and the effort to start filling up a social media account with images, or to go and build a website on one of the free providers or whatever else, it's like for $200 in prints and for maybe like a 25, 30, 50, $100 booth fee, you'll know in a weekend, right? Like, why
Right.
waste all the time with everything else? Like, go and try and do that and see what kind of feedback you get. See if you can sell the stuff, and see where you go from there. And that's normally the advice I give in those scenarios.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. I'm actually in the LA Festival of Books, so I guess that would be my first attempt.
Boom. And you said
Yeah.
you're in Los Angeles?
Yes. Yes, I am. This is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Heather. I'm answering somebody's question on YouTube here. We are having a big summit. Yeah, George, we're having a big summit. I'm like typing this out and he's watching. Like, what's wrong with me? We're having a big summit for all customers on Thursday, George, where we're going to talk about the new plan, all the bells, all the whistles, all the everything, how it works, and all of that. So that's what I would say. But who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Can be anything about anything. Anything with the plans, anything where you are. Hannah's back with another one. Go ahead, Hannah. Go ahead, Hannah, I should say. And you'll need to unmute. Yep, gotcha.
Yeah, just wondering about the payment. Okay. Yeah, I just wondering about like how much to pay for building website, and is that including the money? Like if my client wants to pay on the website, that's including that function, like money thing, and
Yeah. All of that's included. So, the way that it works, and I'll meet you again, Hannah. You sign up for a website. Our website is automatically connected with various different POD providers. POD stands for print on demand, and so you can integrate with those partners. We've got 2 for printing. We have 1 for merchandise. And in 1 second, you're integrated with them, and you're able to offer POD. So if somebody comes onto your website, wants to order a print of the various different media types that you selected, the various different sizes you selected, they can order. The order gets printed, it gets boxed, it gets shipped. You don't have to touch anything. You get paid, the printer gets paid. Everyone signs up for their own merchant account. It's through a company called Stripe, huge company that everyone uses. And so when an order comes in, all the credit card transactions are taken care of for you. All the emails are sent for you. All the tracking numbers, all of that is done. But what we do, this session today is just for people trying to figure out, like, who are these art storefronts people? Do they know what they're talking about? Can they help us? But the other thing that we do is we run like demos, which are essentially our version of test driving the car, for lack of a better term, where somebody will put you in a Zoom like this, show you all the bells, all the whistles, all the plans, all the features, all the functionality, go over all the various different packages and options. So it's one of the good things to do is just go onto the site and request a demo, and they can walk you through all those things, Hannah. That's what I would say. And I love your multitasking, Hannah. Hannah's like clearly on the job. I could hear her with the walkie-talkie, like directing things, also on a call. So she's not messing around. She's cooking with gas over there. I like it. All right. Small group today because our email thing is broken, and I kind of enjoyed it, and it saved me a bunch of extra questions. It saved me some voice, which is nice. But if anyone has any finals, you can go ahead, ask, raise your hand, throw them in the chat. I will happily answer those for you. Again, for all my customers that I saw in the chat, we'll see on this webinar on Thursday for all of you guys, where we're going to go over the new feature and all the bells, all the whistles. Like I said, I've got a big presentation on that one too, which should be pretty cool. So I'm excited about that. But anyone else, guys, any final questions? Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, thank you. All right. Well, I'd say I would email you again, but being that my email is down, I don't even know when I will be able to email again. At some point in time, once they fix that. Once we get that back up and running. Normally I send a replay to the session. This particular one I stream to Facebook and YouTube. So if you need to see it again, need to go back for any reason, it'll be there for you. And other than that, I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your week. Hope to see you on a future session or on the inside. To get a demo, the buttons are all over our website. All you have to do is click on one. And then also you can look to email, because we run some of these sessions on Zoom. where you can just pop in just like you did today, and then get the demo in a group where you see, all the behind the scenes. What does the website look like? What is all the education, all the rest of the stuff at the university? So we show all of that on a demo. And thanks again for coming, everybody. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. See y'all later.